The first ever actual play wasn't Critical Role, or Dimension 20, or even Acquisitions Incorporated. In fact, the original actual play that inspired them all was an anime.
How is that even possible?
Before we dive into the anime inspiration for Critical Role and all actual plays in general, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep these videos coming? It's free, it literally takes seconds, and it really helps us out tremendously when you do. And then, let's talk about the OG actual play. Critical Role has a lot of inspirations, from Matt Mercer's love of Final Fantasy to certain cosmic horror elements favored by Taliesin, and of course, given their history as voice actors, tons of various anime. But one anime is so critical to the existence of Critical Role and the entire genre itself that the Tabletop Gaming Hall of Fame recognizes it as the first ever actual play. An anime from nearly 40 years back that still holds up incredibly well today because of those very actual play elements. And it's called Record of Lodoss War. Record of Lodoss War is the animated retelling of a Japanese D&D group's campaign, one run using the old advanced D&D rules, which you can tell as they have a fighter, a cleric, a wizard, and then an elf and a dwarf. This group of D&D fans turned their campaign into a series of light novels and articles, basically a more text-heavy version of a graphic novel that manga fans may be familiar with, in a series of monthly articles in a Japanese magazine called Comptique, starting way back in 1986 and running until 1989, with the series becoming so popular that the writer of the group, Dungeon Master Ryo Mizuno, turned them into some of Japan's first ever high fantasy novels as well. The series became such a massive success that by 1989, it was being turned into an anime. And that Record of Lodoss War anime became the first true video representation of an actual play ever produced, or as the Japanese called it, an RPG replay. The cast of the anime were taken directly from the RPG campaign, with the young fighter Parn being the de facto leader who started off as a clumsy but determined swordsman to represent his level 1 status at the start of the campaign, joined by his childhood friend Ato, the group's young cleric, his wizardly mentor Slain, Gim the dwarf who helped him train as a warrior and is definitely not a play on Gimli, and Woodchuck the self-interested thief they meet along the way. And then of course there's the high elf Deedlit, who becomes Parn's love interest and is one of the best known characters in the entire series. While the classes give away the D&D inspiration immediately, the anime keeps piling it on, as there's even an image of Tiamat in the opening animation for the show itself. And just like a true actual play, these characters start off relatively weak, but they grow and progress as the adventure continues, with Parn in particular going from an enthusiastic but unskilled swordsman to slowly honing his skills enough to take on the Dark Knight leading the demonic forces they wind up opposing. It has inter-party romance, shocking character backstory reveals, and all the big drama and action you would expect from an episode of Critical Role, all done in a crisp and detailed animation style that still holds up incredibly well nearly 40 years later. Now, if you're asking yourself, a groundbreaking D&D actual play that turned into a history-making anime, how have I never heard of such a thing? The answer is that right before the anime came out, the group tried to sell the rights to D&D, but D&D and their parent company TSR turned them down, leading them to create their own very similar system going forward, which eventually became the TTRPG we now know as Sword World, an RPG that has been kicking the hell out of D&D in sales in Japan for the past 25 years. So maybe the reason D&D was so quick to jump on the Penny Arcade Acquisitions Incorporated bandwagon back in the 4th edition days was because of the extremely big fish they let get away back when Record of Lodoss War came out decades earlier. But if you are looking for a classic TTRPG adventure with high-stakes action and drama, relatable D&D classes, relationships and plot lines that grow alongside the characters the way that you've come to expect from your modern Critical Role fandom, why not take some time and enjoy the anime that basically inspired Critical Role's entire existence, and go watch some Record of Lodoss War this weekend. So what do you think? Are you willing to give this anime that inspired the entire actual play genre a try? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.